Well, this is about as predictable as it gets, as the narrative around what happened to Dave last night makes the rounds on the internet. Of course, the usual suspects are out there literally celebrating it, saying he deserved it for all that dangerous words he worded. This is the modern left. Now, when I say left, I mean kind of leftists or the establishment media. I don't think that this includes your standard traditional liberals. I don't believe that liberals, I don't like to use that term because I still associate with it. I still identify with it a lot. But this whole, I don't care that it happened, he deserved it. Dude, he could have lost his life. People don't care because the when you offend somebody with words, they use their hands. Look, I don't know how new you are to this channel, but like I was literally attacked by somebody over a YouTube video while my back was turned out in public at Gen Con like a few years ago. Never met the person, never had any interaction with them that I knew. They just didn't like my opinions on the internet. So they thought what they should do is raise their hands to me. Now, it didn't end up very well for them, but this is the mindset of the modern left. Now, this guy, by the way, the very same guy who did that is now sitting on like the Gamma board of directors or something like that, because there were people at that time celebrating it, saying that, I deserved it because they didn't like the things that I had to say. This hasn't changed in the last 10 years. And it's sad. It's a sad place to be, like, as a human. You see lots of people here. You see, do I care that Dave Chappelle got, hands put on him on stage? Absolutely not. He deserved it. Here's Ernest Owens, by the way, award-winning journalist for Philly Magazine, editor-at-large, upcoming book, The Case for Cancel Culture. So pro-cancel culture person writing, if you think I'm going to feel sorry for that transphobe Dave Chappelle, please don't. The moment security protects him from the incident, he immediately jokes that it was a trans man, parentheses, it wasn't, but it's clear he will continue to put a target on trans people regardless. Well, if you want to strip away all the context, now I think it's funny that, as a journalist, your issue is one of, being fine, taking away the context, and not providing the whole story. But the issue was in the moments before that, he was talking about and referencing, he had just been talking about, from what I understand, is that how he had to up security because of all the lunatics that were involved in Netflix, the Netflix special. He made a joke at the expense of trans TM, not anyone in particular, and people advocated for raising hands. We saw this when two fellow YouTubers went to the huge Netflix walkout, which was about 7 employees, and of course were accosted for being there. If you look at the quote tweets, the hypocrisy is real, y'all. They've been screaming that his words would create bad behavior against their community, yet someone from their community perpetrated it against them. From the looks of it, some people stand behind this man's actions despicable. LOL, hilarious how simple, absolute triggered these people get. Keep crying. Nobody cares what you feel. The world or Twitter doesn't revolve around you. Jokes are funny. Learn to deal. It's the thing, like, wouldn't his incident prove that community has been putting a target on him? I mean, I don't understand it. And 435 people apparently liked this and thought it was fine. Normally I'd call it phobia, but Dave Chappelle probably deserved it for all the hate he spreads. I mean, Twitter is full of people, now, of course, it's not as if, obviously there are plenty of people that are saying the guy that did it, got what he deserved and things of that. But like, honestly, Dave Chappelle needs to be smacked at this point too. I mean, all these people on Twitter who are like, well, he said some mean words we didn't like, so we're going to condone people raising hands to it. Dave Chappelle slammed for joking, quote, a trans man was the one who went after him on stage. Dave Chappelle was slammed on social media for joking that a trans man was the one who came on stage after a man who, by the way, was armed, came on. He said it was a trans man. Several attendees shared videos of the incident, which took place at the Netflix as a Joke festival, as well as Chappelle's subsequent backlash, including the comment, "Leave the trans community alone for F's sake." BS word. Like, this is why trans community are the most victimized and abused, one critic tweeted. Is there any statistics that proves that? I would argue that literally based on factual evidence, this could not possibly be true. When your community represents 0.01% of the population, you can't possibly be the most of literally anything. If you think I'm going to feel sorry for that, oh, here's the journalist who wrote that. Dave Chappelle had an incident on stage, and the first thing he does is make a joke blaming trans folks. I'm glad he's okay, but F Dave Chappelle. I mean, okay, that's a little, that's not saying he quite deserved it. The LAPD, of course, confirmed to Page 6 early Wednesday that the man who did it, a 23-year-old named Isaiah Lee, was arrested. A spokesman said Lee was carrying some sort of blade. His arm does not look great. Of course, this is all, here's the thing. We don't have any indication that this has anything to do with, like, the, how do I say, like, this, we don't know that this has anything to do with his stand-up. Nothing. So, to associate the two, seems like a leap. But, ideologically, there are people who believe that that's, that it's worth it. And there you see here, Aaliyah says, all these people leave out the fact that Dave Chappelle joked that it was a trans man that ran on the stage when we don't know who it was. All we know is that the things are going to get worse in this country and have been getting worse for trans people. And Dave encourages it. I mean, do you have any, like, qualified evidence of that? 6,000 people. They write, I've continually said I don't think going after Dave Chappelle was okay. All I asked for is offhand comments regardless of the intent, not to punch down on vulnerable communities. This one happens to be the one I belong to. I'm muting this thread because I'm getting too much backlash, essentially, is what they're saying. Like, the idea, that jokes, that words need to be met with, raising fists is insane. I don't understand. I don't understand why this is this thing. Now, again, it's literally like the Mike Tyson thing. People talk a lot of ish on Twitter. They find out in real life. Now you see this, the person who went after Dave has 2 pro-Trump songs and a song hating on Chappelle a year before the Netflix issue. No indication whatsoever that this person is indeed trans. I learned this from listening to someone on Spotify. So, I mean, were they just trying to get clout? I suspect that's probably what this was. I suspect that this person just wants to be famous. It seems unlikely that you would have pro-Trump songs and I don't know. I guess you could. I guess those roads intersect. But the idea that we have journalists out here supporting it, or basically saying, like, well, I don't. He's basically saying he deserved it. I'm not sure that I agree with that, and I'm not sure that that's a road that I think we want to go down as, humans. Officer Elizabeth Lamelli, a spokesman for LAPD, confirmed that they caught serious charges. Go figure. Dave Chappelle is on the receiving end of bad behavior, and the LGBTQ community makes it all about them, lamented another. The man tells a joke, people laugh, then go back to the doom and gloom people, like you keep shoving down our collective throats. We don't have to care for your feelings. No, we don't. I don't want to hear any Dave Chappelle's anti-trans nonsense. Tonight he helped transition a man into a pretzel, quipped someone on Twitter. There are a lot of people rallying. You know, it was Dave Chappelle who was on the receiving end when Fired Up Chappelle supporter wrote, "It's not about trans people. Give it a rest." Do you ever hear yourselves? This man was who tackled him was armed, but you're worried about a bad joke. I think that basically sums it up. I 100% agree. People have to be better. People have to stop endorsing this kind of stuff. Stop worrying about offending people on their own political aisle. Bad behavior is bad behavior, and I hope this person serves the max. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.